Hello guys, Alex from McVeigh Games here, and today I have another Lorcana gameplay video. Today I'm playing a red-yellow deck. I'm testing it out because I think the theory behind it's kind of cool. It plays very similar to the yellow-blues style decks, where it uses the yellow as insane draw power, and it uses the red cards as like control-ish cards like Maui, Aladdin, your Maleficents, stuff like that are really good. And then your yellow, of course, has Rapunzels and Surfer Stitches, and then the hand disruption with You Have Forgotten Me. So overall, the deck seems solid. Hades is like crazy. Being able to like late game add back just bombs is completely mind-boggling. But I'm playing against a blue deck, so they ink a Jasmine and they played Develop Your Brain. Then pass. I draw a Baby Stitch, so I don't really need to put tempo on the field because I didn't do much. So I can play for the long game, and I'll add a Rapunzel here off the You Be Our Guest, and so that's really good for us. And they draw for turn here. Rapunzel being absolutely insane with Maui because you're able to like go from they can quest with like no fear of you having no guys, and then you just summons Maui and then you get damage. So either they then attack into your guy to remove the damage, or you just plus off the Rapunzel. We draw a Kuna Matata, we ink it, and then we just pass. They play Grandma. Grandma's kind of like cool, just because of the fact that it goes in the inkwell, so it's kind of like it always replaces itself. The Inca let it go, which is fine, so less spot removal later in the game. I played Detective Mickey, so they're ramping up a little bit, especially with the Grandma. It can get them some decent ramp for late game. I draw Be Prepared. That's fine. I can wipe the board. Surfer Stitch is a little bit out, so I don't need it right now. And then I can play the You Have Forgotten Me to put their hand size down to 3, which is pretty solid for us because our hand size is at 5. And then the next turn, we're able to ink the Maui most likely, and then drop the Maui, and then like whack a guy. So get a nice +1. Once again, like all these decks I build are just based on card advantage because I think that's a really simple way to just win the game. So they get rid of a Dragonfire and a Rush Peter Pan. So he's kind of like Rafiki, but not good. They draw. They have 4 cards. They probably have to continue inking. Yeah, so they ink Gaston. Puts them at 5. Play big Maleficent, which is kind of good for them. Really good quest tempo, being a 3. Ink the Grandma. I draw a Shield. Shield can be decent with Aladdin's later, but I decide to keep it around because it's only one of in my deck. I play the 3 Baby Stitch and 1 Shield, and then I'll just deal with the Detective Mickey, and then I'll pass. So right now we're neutral card advantage after they draw, but once they ink a card, we'll be +1, which is pretty solid comparing when we went first. So they drew an extra card, actually. But they played Detective Mickey and they play a Gaston, so they decide not to ink anything. So the last card in their hand probably is just a Hades because they want it's 1 uninkable, and 2 they wouldn't want to get rid of it. We draw a Maleficent, which is kind of good. We're probably just gonna ink it though because it doesn't really fall into any of our plans. Here we can probably play the shield and then beat into the. Okay, so I guess we're attacking the Grandma first. Summons Rapunzel, and then see if we can get any like good inks, like Kuna Matatas, etc. Like really bad cards that are just better at inking. Then yeah, that's weird. I don't play the shield for some reason. I should just play the shield. Yeah, I think that was a misplay, sequencing wise, but it's okay. So he decides to ink the Maui with the Hades, which is fine because that puts us in Be Prepared range. They'll just quest everything. Hades is really, really good here. A nice draw. So I have the loop, which is solid. So here I can just probably play the shield, ink the aerial, which I wouldn't have had to ink the aerial if I just played it last turn. So that was a misstep, but it is what it is. The Be Prepared just kind of won us the game because our card advantage is just so far ahead. And then now we can play the shield and then pass. So they have 2 cards to our 4. Shield is going to put a lot of work in with Aladdin. They play Develop Your Brain here. See if they can get anything potentially good for them. And then they play that card, which is a Scar. He's kind of interesting. The 5/3 Scar is kind of wild. Being a 4-drop is kind of cool. Hades can back the Rapunzel, which is nice. So our Be Prepared essentially did nothing to us. Just completely mopped the floor with them. And I'll just pass. There's no need to like overextend here. If he decides to quest with the Scar, like I can just Hades whack into it and then Hades add back Hades, which is just amazing card advantage. And yeah, that's what they're gonna do here. They're just gonna do that. So we draw a beer guest, which is kind of cool. So I can set up some good follow-up later, getting some good bombs. Hades will just add back the Hades, and then we'll play Be Our Guest to see if we can get something. And we do. Maleficent's probably the better choice, just because we're so close to 9. And then we can, I guess we ink Rapunzel here, because our playstyle probably doesn't need draw power anymore, because we've already met the end game, where we're just so ahead in card advantage that we don't need any more draws. BLT Mickey's kind of cool. We can just stick him and say, like, you have to add him. And then we can just freely quest with Hades, because every turn we just grab Hades back for free. So if they play, so let it go here. Being greedy, probably going to get rid of the Mickey. Yeah, and they do. But if they got rid of the Hades, it would stop the Hades loop, which arguably is a little bit harder to deal with. But I guess if they don't have any evasive guys, then they just can't deal with the Mickey at all. So that would just be defeat for them. But here I'll probably go to the conservative route. Oh, wow, I was thinking of playing the Hades, but I guess Maleficent here is fine too. Because if they out the Maleficent, then I can just play Hades. But most of the way that they're going to out it's inking it. Instead, they just play Aladdin, and then they quest the Grandma. And draw BLT Mickey, that's really, really cool. Checking the grave, got it, just a Hades. So probably just going to stick a BLT Mickey. Okay. So instead I grab a Hades, and then I play an Aladdin, and then I pass. That's fair. That's a really good play too. Because now he really can't quest with his guys. Yeah, and he has another, like, useless vanilla scar. But he does decide to quest with Grandma, which is kind of crazy here. Just because of the sheer fact that my Aladdin can just go in. So Surface Stitch draws 2. Dragonfire go crazy. That was a great top deck. So we ink the Ariel, and then we can just Dragonfire the Aladdin, and then, like, we win the game. There's, like, no way for him to come back. Our cards are just so much better this point in the game than his cards. Aladdin's going to put us to 5, put him at 10, and then we'll just quest with the Maleficent and the Hades to put us at 8. So we're already caught up in lore advantage for the most part, and we have a nice substantial 7 on the board, so we're going to be at 15 next turn. Maybe they're able to come back with, like, a Hades or something, but besides that, there's really not much they can do, especially with that BLT Mickey that's in my hand. That card's going to go crazy next turn. You're just thinking here. So taking a little bit. I did not speed up the gameplay video this time, so it will probably take a little bit for him to make a play, just because he's trying to not to lose. And there he goes. A Hades deals with the Aladdin, which is pretty solid, and he uses the Scar to deal with the Maleficent, which is fine by us because we can just Hades grab back Maleficent, and then Maleficent deal with the Hades, and then quest for 3. And then we don't quite have game on board, but it's close enough where they're, like, at 0 cards, so they're practically going to lose anyway. So the game's over. It essentially just comes down to how long it takes for them to admit defeat. And then we pass. They draw for turn, and probably going to see a concede soon. So I appreciate you guys watching, though. If you made it to this point in the video, God bless you, and I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Peace.